One person cannot hear me, and I'm not exactly sure. I wanted to introduce myself. My name is Shelley Berman-Grafstein. I'm a life coach specializing in helping women lose their weight, finding out their why they can't lose weight, and living healthier lives. I'm a holistic coach. I approach everybody as an entire being as opposed to a number on a scale. So I get involved in all parts of people's lives. So I wanted to start with some sort of interactive exercise. And I wanted people to tell me food rules that you can think of. Food rules meaning any rule that you had when you were growing up until now. Some of the rules we're going to talk about keeping, and some of them obviously don't make any sense at all. I'll start with some of the things what I'm thinking of is when I was young, we were taught we need to have 3 meals a day, breakfast as soon as you wake up, lunch and dinner, and usually a bedtime snack. And now we're taught intermittent fasting. The best is 1 meal, possibly 2. When I grew up, fats were a total no-no, and now fats, according to keto, are king. So if people just want to throw out some of their
low fat, low sugar, low carb.
Low fat, low sugar, low carb, good, 3 meals a day. Anybody else?
Don't eat late at night.
Don't eat late at night, good, yep.
Don't eat late at night.
Yep, yep, don't eat late at night. What about, did anybody grow up with the food pyramid where the very top of the pyramid was candy, sweets, and ice cream? Did anybody grow up with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, food pyramid. And even now the food pyramid, I think, has, 3 servings of meat, 2 servings of meat or cheese or eggs a day, and I think 4 of fruit, 4 of vegetables. Lots of things we're being told. And believe it or not, in our subconscious, all of these food rules are floating around. I was coaching a woman who said that she wakes up in the morning and has no interest in eating breakfast, and she has to force herself to eat breakfast. I said, why? She said, well, I have to have breakfast when I wake up. And no, you don't have to have breakfast when you wake up. You eat when you're hungry. So all these food rules that we're being inundated, the bottom line is really what these rules are telling us is do not listen to your own body. We know what's better for you than you and your body know, okay? So I suggest after this class or tomorrow to take a piece of paper and just brainstorm all the food rules that you have going on in your head. And one of the things that's coming to mind now are beer commercials. I don't know if you guys ever watched beer commercials when you were younger, but it was like, if you wanted to be popular and you wanted to have a good time, you needed to have a beer because it was impossible to have that kind of life and not have a beer. And that was during my teenage years, was a very powerful message. And we're inundated with these messages. And now if you turn on the TV or watch the media, you're still inundated with a million food messages. And I have a bunch of cookbooks, and I was looking at my cookbook, and it's from the 90s, but I just wanted to read something. This woman in the 90s went to her granddaughter's school, and her granddaughter had got this sheet to color at the school, and it was to color the dad's face. Okay, now that's politically incorrect because you can't ever assume that someone has a dad. But back in the 90s, we both had mothers and fathers, and it was totally fine to say families grew up with mothers and fathers, but we can't do that anymore. But this picture of this dad came with crayons and instructions. Okay, these were the rules. If dad drank milk today, we are to draw a happy face. If he didn't, we are to draw a sad face. If he had ice cream today, we are to color his hair brown. If he did not have ice cream, we are to color his hair blue. If he had butter, we are to color his eyes blue. If he didn't have any butter, we are to color his eyes red. If he had cheese, we are to color his face pink. If he didn't have any cheese, we are to color his face green. Okay, if that is not major messages from the milk marketing board to these poor children, that if you do not have milk, butter, milk, butter, cheese, and ice cream, you look abnormal. And that is a message that kids grow up with. So you may have these messages hanging around in your subconscious thinking, oh, I better make sure that I have my daily cheese and butter or whatever it is that is bothering you. So I just wanted to do that as an icebreaker, that we grew up, and even today, that people know better what we should eat, what we should do, than how we feel internally. And I think one of the biggest things I can teach you is we have to listen to our bodies. We have to listen carefully, always be on alert to our bodies. They send us so many signals, and we usually tune them out. So one of the first things I want to talk about is a hunger scale. And this is a scale that you can have it either like -5 to +5, with 0 being totally fine, not hungry, just regular. Or you can have 0 to 10, with 5 being regular and 0 being absolutely famished and 10 being absolutely stuffed to capacity. I'll use the 0 as the balance. What we really want is we want to eat like when we're around a -2, a -3, when we're getting hungry, but we're not famished and really crabby. And we want to stop when we're slightly full. We don't want to eat until we're stuffed. And one of the things with eating is our brain doesn't register our level of satiation until 20 minutes after we have finished eating. That is the length of time it takes for the signal from the stomach to get to the brain. So that is why many times after we finish eating, about half an hour later, we feel like we're actually going to burst. And it's because we ate way too much and we did not get the signal. So how do we know if we're really hungry physically or we're emotionally hungry? Anybody want to guess? Anybody want to guess when we can tell whether we're physically hungry or emotionally hungry?
I would say, for one thing, if we're emotionally eating, nothing that we eat is going to satisfy us. We just need more and more.
Right. If you're emotionally hungry, Claire, and I offer you a really fantastic stalk of celery, is that going to do it for you?
I would take it.
You are lucky. You are lucky. Yeah. So usually hunger that is physical hunger. It starts in our stomach, and it starts like an actual hunger feeling, like pressure in our stomach, and it works our way up to our head, and it comes in waves. Like, I know most of us have probably fasted one time or another, either for the Jewish holidays or before blood tests. And if we can ride through the fast, ride through the wave, it subsides, and then we get it again. Emotional hunger always starts in our brain. It always starts with a thought, a smell, an emotion, a feeling. And it's usually for something specific or a specific category. And as Claire says, the food itself can never fill you, because we're trying to fill an emotional hole with food. The issue isn't hunger. So no matter how much we eat and put in our stomachs, it's not going to fill us, because that's not what we need to do. So what I want you all to do, if you're emotional eaters, if you're eating when you're not actually hungry, is pay attention. What is going on in your brain that you want to avoid? Are you eating because you're bored? Are you eating because you're stressed? Are you eating because of a fight with your husband, your children? COVID-19, a newspaper article got you agitated? Like, what is it? Write it down. Try to keep a log, what it is that set you off and what you did about it. Okay, and what I usually work with, that's really what I do with most of my clients, is we really work on the why, because it's very hard to pinpoint what it is that's really bothering us. And I'll give an example. I had a client, and she was an emotional eater, and she kept saying she was bored, she was angry, she was this, she was that. But the reason she was eating was she had a really bad relationship with her husband, and she wanted to use her weight as a buffer, as a barrier between her and her husband. She did not want to have sexual relations with her husband. And this weight was really keeping her safe. Okay, so no matter how much she tried to diet, she couldn't diet because she didn't want to lose the weight. She needed that weight emotionally as the buffer. And I worked with her, and we worked out some things, and then she gave herself permission to drop the weight, and she dealt with the issues with her husband on the side. But her body literally was holding on to the weight, saying, I can't release this weight. I need this weight as protection. So there's many, many reasons, probably as many reasons as there are people. If you can do your own digging, amazing, and that will really give you tremendous insight into why you eat, and then you can correct the why and address the why, so that you can just stick with the eating. I wanted to say that eating when we're hungry is actually a good thing. One of the food rules that I grew up with is you really should never be hungry. Just as you find that first little twinge of hunger, you're supposed to start eating. But hunger gives you an appetite. It makes you appreciate your food. Like if you wait those hours, whatever they are for certain people, for me, I like 4 to 5 hours between my meals. I really enjoy my food much better than if I'm just eating when I'm not hungry. So we really want to tune into our hunger cues and really pay attention. So now I'm going to get technical, and it'll really be the only time that you know me that I will get technical, but it is good to throw these issues out, because a lot of them are never addressed in diet workshops, and never addressed in diet plans. So when we eat, insulin is released in our body. Okay, it's one of the hormones that are released every time we eat food. Insulin is released into our bloodstream. Carbohydrates actually have us release the most amount of insulin, but no matter what we put in our mouth, insulin is released, which is a great system. Insulin carries the glucose through our bloodstream and gives us energy. However, the bad thing with insulin being released is it never allows us to access our fat stores. So if every time we eat, we're burning the food that we're eating, we're never getting a chance to access the layers of fat that we have in our body. And most of us are schlepping around enough fat that we can definitely access. Oh, I hear somebody talking. Access those fat stores. So we want to get to the stage where we're not releasing insulin all the time, and that comes with having time between eating, so that our body and our blood, I didn't explain this well. We eat, insulin's released, and it stays in our blood for a little bit. Every time we eat, more and more insulin is released. If we wait several hours, the insulin decreases, and then our body, if we get hungry, can access our fat stores as metabolism. Okay, that's really our goal. We want to eat our fat. That's the best thing we can eat on our diet, actually, is all the fat that we have, and that will cause us to lose our weight. So we have two other hormones. One is called leptin, and leptin is the hormone that tells us how full we are. Okay, it's made in our fat tissues, and when we are eating all the time, every few hours, if we eat, let's say breakfast, have a morning snack, eat lunch, have an afternoon snack, eat dinner, have an evening snack, and then something else before we go to bed. There's just too much going on. There's too much insulin. The leptin does not work. So we lose that body cue of we are full. Okay, so when we're trying to lose weight, that is a very important body cue. We want to know that we're full. We want to know, okay, time to stop eating. And but this leptin doesn't work. The other hormone that is very important when we're dieting is called ghrelin, Gherlin. And it tells us when we're hungry, and it also tells us when our stomachs are full. Okay, this hormone is made in our stomach, and this is my stomach. It will say when our stomach is full, but it doesn't know quality versus quantity. So if we drink a glass of water or we drink a glass of sugar syrup, our stomach doesn't know. So it's very important that the foods we put in our stomach for this ghrelin to really work are high quality foods. Just like we wouldn't put water in our gas tank because it'll ultimately destroy our car very quickly. We wouldn't want to put half and half water, half gas, because it will also destroy our car. We want our car to operate super efficiently and burn the best fuel. And that's what we need to do with our bodies, is put really good food into our bodies and burn that fuel. So which fuels work best for us? First, we want to know, does it taste good for us? Okay, each one of us is going to have foods we like, textures we hate, smells we like, smells we hate. Do not put things in your mouth that you don't like. Okay, eating should be a very pleasurable experience. Diets, especially if you buy a diet plan or the diets where the food actually comes to you, you don't get a say in what the food is. So choose foods that are nourishing but that taste good for you. Does it feel good in your body? Tune into your body. There's so many foods that we eat that cause us gas, that cause us diarrhea, that cause us constipation, that cause heartburn, that cause belching, all these things. So keep a list of foods that don't agree with you and at least eliminate them for a while so that your body can heal. Okay, is it healthy by your standards? All the women in this group will have different standards of what healthy foods are. Make sure it's healthy to your standards. Okay, so again, we don't want to put garbage in because we're poisoning the only thing. Like, our body is really the only relationship we have with something that lasts us a lifetime, right? Our bodies are with us till death do us part. So we really want to take good care of it. Okay, how does that food work in combinations with other food? I know melon. I love melon. I can eat melon on an empty stomach. The minute I mix melon with another food, I can't eat it. So pay attention also with your food combinations and see how it works. Again, everybody is individual. So no matter what coach you have, you really have to take responsibility for your own health, and you have to do the detective work. And does it give you the results you want? If you're eating all the right foods and they feel great and they taste great and you're still gaining weight or you're still not able to lose the weight, then you need to do a lot of tweaking. Okay, we keep tweaking. As we get older, our hormones change, and life really is always about tweaking, right? If I was the same person I was 10 years ago, I've done something wrong. We always want to be improving, and we want to keep getting better and better, just like Claire, the artist, who I don't know if you can see that she's painting. She's in the middle of my screen. I'm sure her art has changed from when she was 10 years old. I have something hanging in my bedroom that Claire did for my parents, and it's beautiful, and I'm sure it took a lot of talent and a lot of tweaking and learning, and that's really what life is. Any skill you want to get good at, you have to learn and tweak. And looking after our body, unfortunately, is a skill we're never taught. And being in touch with our emotions, unfortunately, is a skill that was never taught. Probably two of the most important skills we can learn in our lives were never taught in school. Okay, the third thing is, or fourth thing actually, is exercise. Okay, we're always told exercise to lose weight, exercise to lose weight. So I'm going to say, don't exercise to lose weight. You have to do a heck of a lot of exercising to lose weight. But exercising is great to keep you healthy and to get you to know your body. So what I suggest is everybody choose a baseline, whether it's 5 minutes 3 times a week, 10 minutes 3 times a week, something that you can keep. Okay, if 10 minutes is too much, 5 minutes. And what you want to do is you want to set a time every other day, let's say, or Monday, Wednesday, Friday, whatever works for you. Keep that time and honor it. And you want to choose an exercise you like. And you want to increase the intensity of that exercise just to maximize those few minutes, okay? It's much easier to maximize those 5 or 10 minutes than to keep adding 5 minutes so that, you know, eventually you're doing an hour or 2 hours of exercise. Not so many people are into 1 or 2 hours of exercise, but if you can do a very high intensity 5-minute workout, you do great things for your body. And you'll see working out is a great thing because you see the benefits immediately, not in terms of weight loss, but in terms of endurance. Okay, I don't know if any of you do push-ups, but if you start doing 2 push-ups, I guarantee you within a couple of days, you'll actually be able to do at least 1 more, which is 50% more. I see Claire wants to say something. No, okay.
I'm good.
You're good. Okay. Or jumping jacks. Okay. Jumping jacks are great. Do you remember jumping jacks? You know, these things, you know, you start, you know, you do as many as you can the first time. And I won't say how many I did, but I'm doing more every day and it's great. It's so much fun and I'm having a blast. And I'm also doing my push-ups and my crunchies and my this and my that. I do like a 20-minute workout every morning, but I'm not saying for you to do 20 minutes, but you do feel good. Okay. My abs are rock hard. And it's from working out. It's not from dieting. It's from working out. So what I want to say, so we're in control of what we eat. Nobody is forcing at this stage of our lives. Nobody is forcing us to put any food in our mouth. There's lots of pressures when we go to a party to eat, drink, and be merry, but no one is actually opening our mouths and shoving the alcohol in or shoving the food in. We're all grown-ups. We are totally permitted to say, thank you, but I'm watching my weight, or thank you, I don't eat. Like I don't try not to really, like for years, I never ate when it got dark, like a typical Shabbos, which is a heck of a lot of food. So we can say, and you know, I think probably most of us make our own foods. We can, you know, start cooking healthier. I have my Facebook group where I post really healthy recipes on Fridays called How to Lose Your Weight for Good. And I'm available for people to say, how would you tweak this recipe? I don't know how to make it healthier. There's so many ways to make things healthier. I would say fill up if you can eat fresh vegetables and steamed vegetables. That should really be the bulk of your diet. It's great. The fiber keeps our intestines clean. It keeps our stomachs full of healthy food. It's vegetables give us micronutrients, full nutrients. So many, they give us protein. Sprouts give us protein. They really, really keep us full and healthy. I'm not saying to give up your fat. I'm not saying to give up your meat protein or your dairy protein, but just try to keep the bulk of what you're eating, mostly vegetables. And I just want to say another couple minutes because I said I wanted to end it in half an hour, so I have 1 more minute. That the why we eat is really the key. Now I've told you the background, the hormones of this, the that. So really try to do some soul searching of what is your why? Why are you reaching for food? And emotions are a vibration through our body. We are so worried, let's say, of feeling bored. But if we just accept, okay, I am bored right now, I'm just going to bring on the boredom feeling. Okay, bring on that emotion. And it's a vibration and it just goes through our body and leaves it. Okay, we spend so much energy fighting and covering it up with food. But if we just let it work through its body, it just flows through. It's like a little kid who just wants us to acknowledge that, let's say that they're not cold, okay? All they want us to say is, I understand, honey, take off your sweater. I see you're not cold. But we don't hear them. Put it on. The kid's screaming and crying and having this full-fledged temper tantrum. All they want to hear are the words, it's okay, I understand. And that's what we have to tell ourselves. It's okay, I understand that you are bored. And then let it come. And then once you acknowledge that you're bored, then you can think of ways, okay, I'm eating because I'm bored. what the heck can I do to get me out of this slump? What are things I can do? People say that they eat to distract themselves, that they have let's say, a bad relationship. But then they end up, they still have the bad relationship, okay? The bad relationship doesn't get better. No relationship ever got better by eating yourself into oblivion. So now they've stacked the problem. They have a bad relationship they eventually have to deal with somehow. And now they're consumed with guilt of overeating, a bad stomach, schlepping around extra weight, sometimes self-loathing, depression, all sorts of things that go with not dealing an issue. So eating never, if you're eating to avoid a problem, eating never, ever solves the problem. Because how do you solve a problem when the problem isn't hunger? So just look within yourselves, do some soul searching, embrace that emotion, then try to figure out how to solve the issue, because that's what really needs to be solved. The boredom, the relationship, the depression, your economic situation, whatever it is, and brainstorm or get some help and look for resources. I'm available. There's a million phenomenal coaches, social workers, psychologists to help you, but food is not the answer. And when you realize if hunger is not the question, food is not the answer, you will be well on your way to achieving great results. So I have a few minutes. If anybody wants to ask me a question, make sure you put yourself off mute to ask me any question. Can you do something else? Also, we have this misconception that we can change lifetime habits without discomfort. Okay? We can't do any change of ourselves with that. Discomfort comes with any change. Here I am, I'm a total introvert. Here I am doing this webinar. Trust me, I'm in such discomfort, but you push yourself, all growth comes with discomfort, and we have to accept that as a fact of life. So for sure, Claire, you're gonna wanna reach for the popcorn, but then you have to think, what's more important? Do I wanna have a short-term popcorn rush, or do I wanna achieve a goal of losing weight? And when you're settled in your mind, if you're not sure, then it's going to be hard. But I use this analogy all the time with my religious clients who are we're kosher, that if someone came up to you and said, I have the most unbelievable cheeseburger. Oh my God, this is the best cheeseburger. It's camembert. It's not even cheddar. It's camembert and fresh ground meat. You just have to try it. Would you be tempted? No, at this stage. No. Right, at this stage, it's not that we use willpower. We just aren't tempted because we're living for a different ideal. So if you put your health and your weight at the same ramah, that I'm willing to look after this vessel, we're taught that looking after our body is a huge mitzvah. Unfortunately, it's ignored by too many people. But looking after our body, looking after our health, as I said, it's the only relationship we have with anything that's guaranteed lifetime, right? We don't know where our marriages are going to end, or if someone's going to pass away before us, Chas v'sholom, or, we want everything to go according to plan. But our bodies are really till death do us part. Like, we really have to look after this body. Like, nobody else is going to do it. So popcorn, health. Okay.
Can I ask you a question?
Of course, my love.
I want to know, as you know, I hold my emotions in my stomach.
Correct.
And how do I know when I'm hungry, anxious? Like, how do I know the difference between all those different signals from my stomach?
That is a very good question. So see if it comes in waves. Hunger comes in waves. Also, logically, if you just ate something like 2 or 3 hours ago, let's say you had a bowl of pasta and a big salad 2 or 3 hours ago, it's unlikely that you were hungry 2 or 3 hours later, okay? What's bugging you? Really try to connect. What is it that I'm not dealing with?
That's what we're working on. That's what you're helping me with.
That's what I'm helping.
That's what you're working. I want to tell you all that I'm here. Shelly has saved my life this week, literally, emotionally, mentally. I am such a big fan of yours.
Thank you, Basi. Yeah, so as I said, I'm a holistic coach. I think weight is just one. It's impossible if you're a weight coach just to tell people what to eat, because that doesn't work. We're not eating. If we want to, we can lose weight, but we can't keep it off unless we address the underlying issues and unless we look at our whole body. Like it's, if
I like what you said about our body being the only thing that we really go through life with. It really is a gift.
it's a gift,
It really
yes,
is a gift.
it's a gift, and
It is. I
we're
love that.
obligated to treat it as a vessel for God. That He gave us this. He put our neshama in it, and we really have to treat it with respect. Okay. Anybody else have any questions? I'm available for you to PM me. This is recorded. I'll send it to anybody. Just send me a PM and I'll send it out to you. And I want to thank everybody for their time. I know everybody's time is so valuable, and
Thank you.
really appreciate it. I'm available for consultations. I'm available for love. I'm available for recipes. And my goal really is to help women, help them make their lives better. It's amazing how just having someone listen to you can make a difference in your life, because so much of us are carrying so much, like Basi said, and it's sitting in our chest, it's sitting in our kishkas, it's sitting in our
In my
stomach,
kishkas, in
and
my gut, in my
yeah.
gut.
And we need to talk, and it's not encouraged to open up and really let it out. But until you let it out, it's just festering. It's just like brewing and glach and glach. But when we expose it, and then we can tackle it, and so much that seems like a mountain, if we start tackling it one thing at a time, it becomes totally possible. We break it down into bite-sized chunks and we make everything doable. And so much of what's churning within us, when we actually say it, it's not nearly as bad. Okay, as I said, when we keep it in, it's like, those underground pimples you used to get when you were a kid, and it would like kill these undergrounders, and because there was a little bit of pus, and then once you get that little bit of pus out, it's like, oh my God, that little tiny bit was like yeah, the explosion. That was killing me, that little bit. Wow, and that's so much
Good
of
analogy.
what's killing us. And once we get it out, it's like, oh, that was it. That was nothing. I can deal with that. So I love you all. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you so much.
And to
Thank you,
to
Kelly.
your success in every single way. Clara, it was so nice to see you. Give my love to Julia's. And everybody should have a Chodesh Tov, and Hashem should answer all our prayers speedily. Okay, everybody, have a good night.
Kelly.
Thank you. Bye-bye, everybody.